it all down. Lay it all down at the feet of Jesus. How do we do that? What does that look like? Isn't there just like a outline that I can follow that makes it work? This is something that I've been trying to practice over the last, I don't know how long, but specifically this year, 2026, surrendering it all to Jesus. And what does that look like? Because it feels like it should be easy, but it's really hard. It's hard to know. It's just hard to know. I don't even know where to go with that. When we say that we're going to surrender it all to Jesus, what does that mean? It means all. How do I walk with you, Lord, in all of the decisions of my day? It starts with maybe with taking every thought captive. Are my thoughts glorifying the Lord? Are my thoughts in His will? Is my thought of doing whatever I am doing for His glory and His honor? This morning I was taking a shower, and I get emotional when I'm talking about things, even on videos. I get emotional when things happen with my children, but I'm not typically someone who just breaks down and cries over things. And this morning I was in the shower, and music, I play music when I'm in the shower. I don't know, many people do, it's nothing remarkable, but I generally put a playlist on so that I can mark the time, so that I'm not in the shower too long. But it helps me not to rush myself, because over the course of the years of having children, you tend to start to rush yourself in the shower because you don't know what they're getting into, or whatever the case may be. You take your shower and you get out. But over the last year, I have gotten back into the place where I just want to really enjoy my shower, but I don't necessarily want to be excessive. So I had my playlist going this morning, and I have a particular set of songs right now that are just really encouraging for me and just really mean a lot. And so I'm going to mention those songs. One of them is by Jeremy Camp, and it's No Survivors. And the chorus talks about that I need to get rid of some things in my life, my ego and my pride. And so these are things that I have to lay down before Christ every day. These are things that I do not want to survive in my life as I continue to walk with the Lord. How do I do that? Okay, so that's one song, and that song came on, and it's very snappy and very, hands up, praiseworthy, loud. I love it. And then following that came on Homesick for Heaven. And so in my mindset, as I'm thinking about this other song and I'm just in this place, now encouraged, and then Homesick for Heaven hits. And we'll see if I can do this. It's a song that I listen to on the regular, and it often brings some tears to my eyes, but it has not until today broke me into sobs. And while being homesick for heaven is something that all Christians
press Uconnect phone button to answer. Phone call completed.
Sorry about that. All Christians should be, because this is not our home. Once we become a believer in Jesus, we are looking forward to the day when we get to go to be with Jesus. There are choruses in there that talks about our children. If you've listened to any of my content, you know that I'm going through it with some of my kids right now. And it just broke me this morning. And I just sobbed and sobbed. Jesus. I want to lay it all down before him. And this morning I realized that they are not something that I'm laying down before him. And not that I have any control over what's happening in their lives, other than who am I before them? Who do I represent when I am with them? This is a struggle for parents, to lay their children down before the Lord. And so the song brought just a whole flood of emotion, but it didn't stop with my children. It continued with, do I love my neighbor? Am I laying down my neighbor at the feet of Jesus? Our interactions. I have expressed my displeasure with my current neighbors. We have an apartment situation next to us. It's a 3-flat home. And our current neighbors, to say it nicely, get on my nerves because they are smoking pot all the time. And I don't like it. But never once have I prayed for them. Have I laid that situation down at the feet of Jesus and said, there you go. I surrender that situation to you, and Lord, I pray that you work in that. Whether that's whatever the answer is. I find that often. This reminds me, I'm laying things down at the feet of Jesus and then prescribing to him what I think the best situation is. Because maybe the best situation is they just stop smoking pot, and that'd be best for everybody. That'd be best for them too. Maybe they'll move, that would be okay too. Whatever, but never is my prescribed situation me just being Jesus to those people. Anyway. So this morning, I literally, for the first time in a really long time, did I feel the sobs and the sorrow and the fact. It was literally, I think, the first time that I physically, mentally, spiritually felt that I have no choice but to trust Jesus with all the things. We pray for people, like I know that I have prayed for people in my life to be broken so that they will come back to Jesus. And that is what I felt this morning. I felt like there was something in me that broke to the point that it was like, do you finally get it? That I want to be in control of everything. I don't necessarily know what that looks like. But as much as I cried, I also felt such a weight lifted off my shoulders and a peace that came with that scenario. We can say we're walking with Jesus. We can be walking with Jesus. We can be reading his word and praying. We can be doing all the things. We can be in communion with him. We can be walking in his will, and we can still be holding back. And that is, I think, what this morning was about for me. Like, I am holding back. I am constantly trying to figure out, what do I need to do, instead of going to Jesus and saying, okay, show me, Lord, what next step. My mom, growing up, had a friend. When I was growing up, she had a friend who she said that she asked Jesus everything, what she should wear, if it was time for her to put her feet on the floor. Well, that can sound really ridiculous to us. It's not really far from the truth of where we should be. so I want to be more like that. That my decisions are, my thoughts, my struggles are all things that I take before the Lord first. And that I am guided by His presence. One of the other hard things about this is that we will often have people that are like, oh yeah, I understand that you need to give that to God, but you know, you have to do this, you have to do that, you can't do this or you can't do that. And the reality is that a lot of times the human wisdom that we're listening to goes against what God is asking us to do. A lot of times. Will we choose human wisdom or will we choose God? And that's kind of a sticky situation, because we do want to get counsel from other people who we know are believers and who are walking with God, by the way, not just random people on the side of the road, or even new believers, or people who don't read the Bible, or whatever the case may be. We need to be getting good counsel from people who also walk with the Lord. However, even in that, God might be calling us to something different. There are missionary stories over and over where people are like, yeah, but really, you're going to go there? That seems like a real stretch. Why would God ask you to go there? Sometimes people hold us back from walking in the will of the Lord. And I don't know I don't think that is my case, by the way. I'm just laying it out there. That people will say to you, you need to do this. And I guess it is my case a little bit, because I believe that God has called me to be a at-home mom with my son, even though I'm a single parent. And that puts a huge financial burden on the rest of my family, who I think are getting a little tired of it, to be honest with you. So as I am walking this journey of trying to figure out, how do I make money? How do I pay my bills? This is an area that I'm not real good at laying down before the Lord. While I want to trust Him and I say that I trust Him, then I get nervous and I listen to man and I think, okay, what can I do now? What do I do now? And I start to spin my wheels looking for answers rather than taking it to the one who has all the answers. Again, we don't know what that looks like, because God doesn't reveal the entire plan to us, because if He did, we would not have to trust Him. It's so hard. Anyway, if you've never heard the song Homesick for Heaven by Phil Wickham, by the way, Jeremy Camps, No Survivors, and Katie Nicole, what's the name of her song that I love so much? She has many wonderful songs. But this is the trio this morning of songs that really broke me into my soul and made me start to realize the areas in which I am not fully surrendered to Jesus. If something that I have said today has blessed you, please be sure that you engage with this video, like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, all of the things, so that the algorithm will know that there is some value-added content here. And I look forward to sharing more of my journey with you. We'll see you real soon.